So yeah, my name Curtis Myers. I'm married. I've been married for 22 years. I got 3 kids. I had one that passed away, stillborn in '03. That was a difficult experience, but it is what it is. I got a boy that's 18. He's a local builder like myself, and I have a daughter that's 16. They both graduated from EK high school. And like I said, I'm a local builder in Grand Rapids, Michigan, residential building. And at the end of the day, let's go.
Uh, what does a father? What does being a father mean to you?
For me, being a father is understanding the child from day one, not from day 2000, from day one. Like you got to get to know the child from birth. You got to experience things with the child as a father. You got to go walk. You got to walk the life with the kids. You got to go through the experiences with the kids, as well as being a father. You make a lot of mistakes, so you just got to learn with the child. Once you learn the child, then learn yourself as a dad. Along the way, you'll be okay.
Let me repeat the question.
Okay.
Uh, what is your relationship like with your father?
So my relationship with my father basically is different than it is with my son. With my father, he worked, he worked a lot of hours, a lot of hours. He worked 2 jobs. He always made sure money was in the home. He always made sure the home was taken care of. My mom worked too, but my dad was the meat. It was the meat of the house. Uh, he wasn't hands on. This is the difference between me and my dad. He wasn't hands on at all. I know he loved me. I know he had a lot of love for me, but he came to games when he could because of 2 jobs. He just made sure the house was there. I come home, pops, hey son, but he at work eating, going to sleep pretty much. Me, I work. I do the same thing my dad did, but I got to go overtime a little bit because I got to be hands on with my son. I got to kind of walk on my son a little bit more because today's totally different than back then. Back then, you kind of could just the dad could go to work, go home, eat, go to sleep, repeat the cycle, and the kid would be okay with a little bit of nurturing from his mom if both parents was in the household. But in my case, in today's society, you can't really do that. You got to be a little bit more involved with the kids. So, yeah, like I said again, my dad was in my life, but it was a little different than how I am with my son.
So since you did, did grow up with your dad, how do you think that has impacted your life?
So by my dad growing up with me, it impacted me heavy. By again, like I said, I'm gonna keep going back to he worked very hard. So I seen that, and it's relating to me working very hard, changing. Being as a man from going from a young man, or really from a boy to a young man to a full man. Like I say, with a full time family, it's not easy. It's a hard transition as a man. Some men like running and leaving, and sometimes I kind of can understand it, but I just would never do that as a father. I got to stick in there with them and show them that it ain't always easy. Sometimes it's hard. My dad stuck in there. Again, I just said he wasn't hands on. So, but the impact of him being there helps me stay there for mine. And now I got a grandson. So, the impact is heavy. The father in the house is always heavy. I tell men this every day. If you can stick around for the well being of that child. Now, I'm not saying stay around in your relationship for the child. I'm saying stick around for your child. It's basically about the impact for my dad.
Okay. How old were you when you had your first child, and what was that experience like for you?
So when I had my first child, I was 23. That was 2003. That's when I had my first child. Again, that was my stillborn. Um, that was a different experience. I think God just put me through an experience at that time to be a better dad to the future kids that I had. At the end of the day, it was hard for me, but I walked it. And again, I was 20. I was 23 years old. I had my second child at 25, and then I had my third child at 27. So I really had like from age 23 to 27, which is when you make a lot of life decisions as a parent, as a person, as whoever you want to be in life. So I had 2 year gaps, like 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. So I didn't even have time to mentally break down my first child dying before my second child. 'Cause at the time, it was my girlfriend. She was pregnant. Then boom, my second child come in '05, which is my son today. He was born then '07. My daughter came, and then I got married in '09, and that's when it just as a father, it really just took off.
Did you have let's see, did you have a support system to help you as a father?
That's a great question. Yes, I did have a support system as a father. My wife, family, I'm very tight with. I'm very close with. They supported me on top of having great support from my family, my sisters, my mom, my grandparents don't live here, but they still, they was a call away. Some of my aunts, some of my uncles was involved to an extent, much as they could be. I had a great support system. Even some of my friends at the time. I had some close friends that was involved with my kids. That all helped. Without that, it's tough because you got to make all our decisions on your own. You have nobody to bounce off of on life experiences with kids. I had older uncles that had kids that was young. I had uncles and cousins that had kids at early ages. All that stuff mattered. And I did have my first child, like I said, at 23. So I wasn't too young, but I still was a young man. I wasn't a full man yet.
What do you enjoy most about being a father?
What I enjoy most about being a father, the most, is watching the kid develop from, like I said, I've been in my child life from the womb at the hospital till today, and it's gonna continue that way with me. But I enjoy, so I can say this: I enjoy watching it from the womb to now, all the positivity to the negativity. It just make me a better father, make him a better son, make my daughter a better daughter. It make my wife a better mother. Just watching it, watching the development of a child is enjoying. And just sometimes it's not, but for the most part, in my case, it's been pretty enjoying. It's satisfying. Especially, and the biggest one is this: when you're out in public, and people come up to you and say, "Hey, man, Kurt, you're doing a good job," and your wife also is doing a good job with your son or with your daughter. That to me, that's gratifying because there's a lot of work put into this. It ain't all peaches and cream. So everything ain't out there. It ain't everybody business with everything that go on in your household, but for the most part, we good.
In what ways did becoming a father change
Oof, the biggest way becoming a father changed me was having something that looked like you. Cause like I say, my boy came first, and my daughter actually looked like me more than my boy, but he came first. Every man want a boy, play sports, do what he did, kind of emulate what you did in life, and we always say be better. So when it changed me a lot, because when I was younger, I wasn't wild, but I just did what I wanted, like most kids do. When he came, I said I had to tighten up, I had to get more responsible, I had to work harder. So and once I did that and installed myself in that, I just kept going. I never really looked back. I never slowed down or stopped. Now, I do want to slow down now because I'm older. I'm 43 years old. My son's getting older. He's about to be 19, and my daughter about to be 17 coming up. So they're getting older, and it's not easy, but it's very enjoyable. I like it a lot, and it changed me. It turned me from a boy to a man fast. And some men it don't, but in me, it changed me fast. And again, with that being said, I was around a group of friends growing up that a lot of my friends are the same way. And Clay, a lot of my friends. A lot of my friends are the same way. I know a lot of my friends past the internet. The internet is just something we can see because we can't keep up every day. But I know who got pure hearts with their kids and when it's just a facade, and I'm around a lot of guys that take care of their business. And I learned from them also. So yeah, it's an enjoyment being a father.
What was one of the hardest moments you had being a father, and why was it hard?
I'm glad you asked me that question. So one of the hardest moments being a father was, I'm gonna give you two breakdowns. One was with my daughter and one was with my son. So with my daughter, I'm gonna get that to you first. With my daughter, so I don't think nothing wrong with it. It's just me. This is my opinion. This is how I feel. I didn't even like changing my daughter at an early age. I was 20 and I was in my late 20s, so I wasn't always mature yet with kids. I was like, I ain't changing my daughter. I just didn't like that. I think what it did was it broke. It didn't create a good bond with her. And my mom and my wife used to tell me that. They'd be like, man, you need to change her. That create bonds. Huh? Think you know everything. Whatever. No, you do that. That's the one thing I ain't changing her. Today we got a tight bond, but I think it was broken a little bit in between that. And it was hard on me because of that. So if I had a daughter today, I'm gonna change her because of that and learn from that mistake. With my son, I'm gonna just put it out there. He did something that I really didn't appreciate. And he took our car. So in 2015, we went out to Florida, me and my wife, on a trip. My car was in my driveway. He's been a teenage boy. Take the key and he take it. Go on a joyride. He backed out, hit somebody. Boom. Detectives called me the next day. I got everything panned out. Now this is where it's critical about being a dad. Detectives called me. They wanted to actually try to pin my son down for a case. I said, there's no way you pinning him down for a case. He didn't steal anything. He took something from his dad or his parents pretty much without their permission. I'm not pressing charges on my son The reason you calling me is because he hit somebody, now somebody else is involved. I said, but give me the people number. Let me talk to them if it's legal. I said, and let me see if I can handle this before it get you out of line. The detective agreed with me. Everything got handled pretty much without the court system. So as a dad, that's critical being in your boy's life. Now, that was difficult on me because that was the first main thing he did that I was really disappointed with. Like, it really made me be like, dude, you can't be catching no cases. We work in people's cribs. You got to keep a clean record. But again, it was a mistake. And I learned as a dad, you got to be on these people's head when it come to your kids, or they go wash them up under the bus every time.
What is the relationship like with your kid's mom?
So, again, mine I think is unique in the African American community. I'm gonna just keep it all the way real. It's not a lot of families that stay together, and I pray and I'll be talking, and I really wish people would stay together more and fight through their problems, not just for the kids' sake, just but for your own and your family's sake. You know, it's a when you got that last name and your son got the last name and your daughter got the last name, that's unique. Blended families is nice also, but having one family is big. So with my kid's mom, she's my wife. That's the only mom I got for my kids. I don't have too many kid moms. I got one. So for me, we learned as we went. We made mistakes. We still make mistakes. Sometimes she do things with the kids or to the kid I don't like. Sometimes I say and do things around the kids she don't like. But I tell her all the time, no matter what go on, we still got to let the kids know we got each other back and we won. And the kids we talk to and do things and we move forward. So with the kid, with my wife, it's growing pains more or less, you know. But at the same time, it ain't just pains; it's just growing as one, as a unit. You know, a lot of people, like I said, Clay, you around and I'm around. We see that, and it is. And then, like again, some of us didn't have that, and some of us didn't have moms growing up, and a lot of people beef with their moms, and it throw me for that. But everybody's relationship different. But again, but mine it's pretty tight now, and I think we'll be all right. If I passed away tonight, I think my wife would do a great job with my babies because she didn't learn from me, and again, vice versa, I didn't learn from her.
Have you ever felt underappreciated as a father?
Last night, have I ever felt unappreciated from my father for my kids? All the time because they're kids. I'm pretty sure my mom and dad feel unappreciated with me at times in life because we want our kids to be walk a fine line. It's so perfect, and it's just not perfect. They have sex. Some of them do drugs. Some of them do drink alcohol. Some of them steal. Some of them steal a car. You got to just constantly talk to your kids. Everybody kids are different, and yes, them kids are rough, you know, but you can't give up on them. That's the key. Just don't ever give up on them, and they're gonna make you feel appreciated probably once a day. And you just gotta look past that as an adult. I mean, we make each other feel unappreciated as humans. You know what I'm saying? I might do something for you, Clay, and you might feel I might feel unappreciated, but you really might mean good. But I'm just assuming that man, Clay ain't for that. So it's the same thing with the child, and it's gonna be worse with the child. So you just gotta understand them. That's all. But yeah, every day I feel underappreciated, but I know they mean well with me.
Last question. What advice would you give to a new father?
The advice I'm gonna give to a new father is never give up on them kids. The mama's gonna make it hard. Sometimes the grandma's gonna make it hard. Sometimes the brothers are gonna make it hard. Society gonna make it hard. People gonna make it hard. The world, social media gonna make it hard. Just don't give up on them. Keep going. Keep fighting with them. Cause don't never forget you're gonna make a mistake just like they're gonna make mistakes. You don't want nobody giving up on you. So at the end of the day, just don't give up on them and just fight through everything. The system gonna really make it hard on you. They gonna make it harder than anybody because they control a lot. But again, I ain't never been in the system, but I know people around me that have, and some people ain't never gave up. And you know, it is what it is, but you got to push through it. So that's the number one thing I'm gonna give to most fathers that's new. You know, don't give up and just keep going. I tell my son every day. He come to me, Dad, man, it's getting tough. Well, you created this. You created it's not no problem. You created another seed that's you walking around. Now you got to raise it and go to work. It's just that's what it is. Tough love.